Hello YouTube, my name is Nero and today we have some Call of Duty Black Ops 3 and I'm making this video not so much because I want to, but more or less because I said I would in my last video and people have come to expect the video, so here it is. There is an update to Black Ops 3 today and I said I was going to cover all the patch notes and give you guys the long and the short of it and tell you guys what they changed about the game, but it turns out they actually didn't change a whole lot in today's update. It was actually a very lackluster patch with the exception, of course the exception, of the fact that Nuketown is now free for everybody to download, as well as you now have access to download the Nuketown Personalization Pack, which brings with it the amazing Nuketown camo, 3 Nuketown reticles, as well as a Nuketown calling card, all for free, but we did an entire video already today talking about that. But aside from that, this update really didn't bring a whole lot to it. Now, I say this in every one of my update videos here for Black Ops 3, that they're doing things weird this year. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense why they're doing it this way, but essentially what happens is they'll do a number of small hotfixes for Black Ops 3. In these hotfixes, they'll change around a couple of things here or there, but they'll rarely actually tell us all the things that are actually in those hotfixes, and then a day like today will come where they'll actually add in a bigger patch, and then they'll tell us all the things that have already happened from the previous hotfixes since the last patch. It's a really weird way of doing things. They do usually tell us a good amount of what is in those hotfixes, but they don't tell us everything at once. Then they release a patch like this, and then they give us these patch notes. If you guys would like to read the patch notes for yourselves, there's going to be links down there at the very bottom of the video description, which will take you over to support.activision.com, where you guys can read them for yourselves. And in those patch notes, they'll have a bunch of things written there as if it all just happened today, but in reality, most of this stuff has already happened in hotfixes and little updates that they did here and there. So really, we got nothing really new today. That's the big thing about this update. So of course, the MR6 had its max fire rate reduced, and this is gameplay of me shooting the MR6 here. It's not ridiculously slow, like it's not brokenly slow or anything like that, but definitely shoots a lot slower than it used to, which I'm a bit disappointed about, because I always thought that how fast you could shoot a semi-automatic weapon was one of the skill factors of Call of Duty. If you're somebody like me that can shoot very, very quickly most of the time, then you kind of had an advantage over other people, which I guess they don't want too much of an advantage with a pistol, which is a pistol, but they decided to nerf that. But of course, we already knew that. They nerfed that a while ago, so that's nothing new. That's written here in the patch notes. The ICR1 was also updated. It has increased accuracy now, but again, this is one of those hotfixes that happened a while back. I remember specifically when they first revealed to us that the ICR1 has had its recoil reduced. I was like, wow, I wasn't aware there was any recoil on the ICR1. So if you guys remember that, yeah, a lot of these things are just things that have already happened in the past, and they're just now writing down all the patch notes here. There were a number of bugs that were actually fixed, and some of these bugs are actually kind of hilarious, but really they didn't have a whole lot to do with the actual game itself. Like, these are things that didn't happen very often. So for example, there was a glitch essentially where if a player were to have died by a Semtex while doing the calling in animation for the HDXD, enemy score streaks would continuously fire on his spot of death. Like really random bugs like that they end up fixing. They of course update a bunch of the map exploits and stuff like that, and the pathing with AI kill streaks and stuff like that, like they do with every single update. But yeah, pretty much this was a real disappointment, I suppose, of a patch. Not a whole lot to it, to be perfectly honest. There's just bugs that have been fixed, and that's about all, ladies and gentlemen, for this video. That's about all for the patch. In fact, there really isn't a whole lot there. See, we as the Call of Duty community, we want drama when it comes to our patch notes, don't we? Like, while you may disagree with a lot of stuff that happens in those big patches, it's still really interesting when that stuff happens. Like, what? They nerfed the Vesper into the ground, they increased its recoil like tenfold, and now it's unusable, and nobody's using it. Oh my goodness. The KRM-262, suddenly it's amazing, and it's one-shotting everybody. They fixed an exploit where the Haymaker would accidentally get kills on occasion, so they nerfed it down, and like, they would do things like that. Like, it's fun when they have the really big updates where a lot of weapons have changed, or score streaks have changed, and things like that. Or like when they changed around Nuketown, and they made it so the cover by the B flag and by the car was actually lower, so it was no longer like a head glitch spot. Like, that would be cool if they would do stuff like that, but alas, not every single update can be like that, and we have to deal with what we got here today. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. I hope you guys found it at least somewhat helpful and informative. If you did, please drop me a rating. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.